Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Saṅghaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Sattime kassapa bojjanga maya sammadakkhata bhavita bahulikata abhiññāya sambodhāya nibbānāya samvattati. These 7 factors of enlightenment, Kassapa, I have rightly expounded, which lead to direct knowledge, enlightenment and nibbana. Friends, this is how the Buddha introduced these 7 factors of enlightenment to Venerable Mahakassapa. Once Venerable Mahakassapa was sick. He was living in a particular cave named Pippali cave. When he was sick, when it was evening, the Buddha went there to see him. That is where the Buddha introduced these 7 factors of enlightenment to him. The Buddha recited these 7 factors in details. At the end, Venerable Mahakassapa's ailment ceased. So, these 7 factors are very much significant in our practice. The Buddha expounded, he taught us, and he himself said that I practiced this, I developed this, I cultivated this. That is why Buddha taught us. So, we have to understand, tonight we all are here to understand this and practice. As it is the commencement of the retreat, I assume that it is necessary to understand the factors of enlightenment and the mindfulness as a factor of enlightenment. Therefore, tonight, for this Dhamma talk, our topic is the factors of enlightenment and mindfulness as a factor of enlightenment. Let's first understand the factors of enlightenment. You know, these factors of enlightenment are translated in different terms, like factors for awakening, factors for enlightenment, factors of enlightenment, or enlightenment factors, like that. So whatever the way that the translators use, the Buddha's word is very simple, Bojjanga. Though a bit difficult to pronounce, Bojjanga. This term Bojjanga, the Pali term is Bojjanga, which is a combination of 2 terms. Etymologically, that is Bodhi and Anga. Bodhi and Anga. Anga means factors. Bodhi means enlightenment. Enlightenment, factors. Bodhi Anga became Bojjanga. That is how we use the term. There are 7 Bojjangas, 7 factors of enlightenment. But Buddha said, not only these 7, Buddha expanded this. As the whole teaching, sublime teaching that he taught, he said, the Dhamma that I taught means 37 factors of enlightenment. You know, the Buddha, before his passing away, one day he asked Venerable Ananda to summon all the monks living nearby in the city and all over. Then the Venerable Ananda summoned these monks to a particular hall where, addressing the monks, the Buddha said, "Monks, the Dhamma that I taught, that I rediscovered and taught should be thoroughly learned by you, practiced by you for the benefit of many, for the benefit, happiness and welfare of humans, multitudes of humans and devas." Then he said, "What is the Dhamma?" I realized. The Dhamma that he realized, he then proclaimed the Dhamma he realized. That Dhamma is called sublime Dhamma. Once he said, the one who dwells in the Dhamma, delights in the Dhamma, meditates on the Dhamma, and remembering this Dhamma, will never fall away from this sublime Dhamma. What are these sublime Dhamma? 37 factors of enlightenment. What are the 37? Let's simply understand what are these 37, not one by one, but as a whole, as a group. There are 7 different categories. The first is the 4. If you like, you can count whether there are 37. First, 4 establishments of mindfulness. Then 4 right efforts. Then 4 roads to power. Then 5 spiritual faculties. Then 5 mental powers. Then 7 factors of enlightenment and the noble eightfold path. All these come 37 factors of enlightenment. These 37 factors of enlightenment were condensed into 7. These are called 7 factors of enlightenment. These are the real factors to be practiced, developed for the attainment of enlightenment. When practice this, develop this, cultivate this, they directly lead us to the attainment of enlightenment. That is why we want to understand these factors. The Buddha once said these are arisen only in this sasana, nowhere else. Sasana means dispensation. You cannot find these 7 factors of enlightenment in any other sort of faith, nowhere else. Buddha very clearly said this. You cannot find this. It is only during the time of the Buddha. Only the Buddha realized these 7 factors and introduced us. According to the Uppada Sutta, the Erison Sutta, named Erison, in the connected discourses. He clearly said this. Another occasion, he said, these 7 factors are like rafters of a peak house, You know, in ancient time, people built peaked house like this. All rafters go towards the top where there is a post. All rafters should be hooked to this post, which is called ridgepole. This is called the one on the very top of the peaked house is called the ridgepole. All the rafters should go to that and hook that. Then if you want to break this, if you break the post, then all rafters shattered. So Buddha said, these 7 factors of enlightenment are like rafters. All the rafters slanting sloping, directing, leading towards the ritual. Just like that, 7 factors of enlightenment are sloping, slanting, leading towards Nibbana, attainment of enlightenment. Another occasion, Buddha compared these 7 factors of enlightenment to 7 types of a gem. 7 types of gem. Buddha said, monks, the universal king, the monarch, he has 7 types of gem. You know, according to Buddhist tradition, we accept that there were universal kings. Not only there were, but in future there will be. There will be. Even when Buddha was born, this little one, little prince, when he was taken to the soothsayers, the Brahmins, 108 Brahmins were summoned and asked about the kid, about this little one. Then what they said? They hold 2 fingers like this and said, this little one would be either Buddha or the universal king, the monarch, Chakravarti Raja. Only one, whose name was Kondanya, he said, he holding, raising 1 finger, he said, this little one will be the Buddha. So, universal king. Buddha said, the universal king, the monarch, he has 7 types of gem. What are the 7? He has the gem, wheel gem, elephant gem, horse gem, woman gem, jewel gem, steward gem, and commander gem. These are the 7 gems of the universal king. The Buddha said, like that, the Buddha has 7 gems. What are the 7 gems? These are the 7 gems. 7 factors of enlightenment are the gems of the Buddha. Gems of all of us. For all of us, these are the real gems. 7 factors of enlightenment. Another discourse, the Buddha said, monks, dawn is the forerunner, precursor for the rising of the sun. You know, when you see the dawn, early morning, when you see the dawn, it's clear the sun is rising. Sun is arising because you see the dawn. Just like that, for the arising of these 7 factors of enlightenment, good friend, Kalyana Mitta, Satpurusha, the good friend is the forerunner, precursor for the 7 factors of enlightenment. That means, for the practice of these 7 factors of enlightenment, what is the precursor? What is the forerunner? Good friend. Kalyana Mitta. Good friends are very much important. Who is the best Kalyana Mitta? Our best, the most venerable, venerated Kalyana Mitta is Buddha. And thereafter, the Sangha, the monks, nuns, who taught this Dhamma. And even today, monks, nuns are the Kalyana Mittas. They are always ready to help us. Whoever knows the Dhamma, They share this Dhamma. They are the Kalyana Mittas. Without Kalyana Mitta, we cannot understand these 7 factors of enlightenment. Without Kalyana Mitta, you cannot come to the Dhamma even. Just think of the people in the world today. 7 billion. Of the 7 billion, how many practice Dhamma? How many knows this Dhamma? Only a very few. The Buddha said that is the nature. Most people are wandering here on this shore. Only a few cross over and go to the other shore. Just like the hunter spread the net to catch the birds, only 1 or 2 might escape. All others are captured. Just like that, only a few see this. Only a few understand the Dhamma. It is because of friends, good friends, Kalyana Mitta, Sat Purusha. For the attainment of enlightenment, first we have to come to the first stage, which is called stream enterer. In order to become a stream enterer, you have to have 4 different qualities. 4 support qualities. What are the 4? The first thing is Kalyana Mitta, Satpurusha. Buddha said, Satpurusha Sansevo, associate with a good friend. That is the first thing. Secondly, listen to the Saddhamma. Saddhamma. You have to understand that part also, not simply Dhamma. There are now today in the world, in the name of Dhamma, there are some A-Dhamma also, Adhamma. Adhamma are taught in the name of Dhamma. Some people misunderstandingly, they think that they are the enlightened ones. They try to share with others in the name of Dhamma, they spread Adhamma. We have to understand that also. That is also very important. So, Saddhamma Savane, the second one is Saddhamma Sa. First one is Satpurusha Sanseva. Associate with a good friend. Secondly, listen to the Saddhamma. Third, Yoniso Manasikara. Wise attention, give attention, develop your wise attention. Third one. And then lead the life according to the Dhamma. Those are the 4 factors to be maintained for the development of mind, to practice and enter the path as a stream winner, stream enterer. So like that, we have to understand the source of this Dhamma. These 7 factors of enlightenment are indispensable factors for the crossing over the flood. There is a flood all over. In the whole world there is a flood. What is that flood? There are 4 types of flood. 4 different streams come and flood is all over. What are the 4 types of stream? 4 flood. Kamoga, Bhavoga, Dittyoga and Avijjayoga. Kamoga. Kama means sensuality. Flood of sensuality is all over the world. Bhavoga, flood of existence. Then Dityoga, flood of views. Then avijjayoga, flood of ignorance. These are the 4 types of floods. All over flood. Buddha said, dam. Build a dam across the stream. We have to build a dam across the stream and stop this flood. And further he said, make your own island. Atta Deepa Viharata. Atta Deepa Viharata. Make your own island and live on it. In order to make your own island, you have to dam this, you have to stop this flood. What are these dams? 4 types of dam across the four streams. The 4 dams are the 4 establishments of mindfulness. The Buddha said, Kayanupassana. Establish mindfulness on body as body. Body as body. Understand this. Body as body. Then feelings as feelings. Mind as mind. And mental objects as mental objects. 4 dams. Once you build these 4 dams, you are safe. You have made your own island. That is what the Buddha said. Make your own island and live there. 4 flood. Again, the Buddha said, monks, if one neglects these 7 factors of enlightenment, he or she neglects whole path for the attainment of enlightenment. You neglect the 7 factors, you neglect the whole path to the attainment of enlightenment. If you undertake this, you undertake the whole path. It's clear. One day a certain monk went to the Buddha and said, Bhante, factors of enlightenment are said. Factors of enlightenment are said. With what sense are they called factors of enlightenment? Then the Buddha said, they lead you to the attainment of enlightenment. The factors of enlightenment lead you day by day, not day by day, moment by moment. Every moment they lead us to the attainment of enlightenment. That is why they are called factors of enlightenment. These factors of enlightenment, Buddha said, there are 4 types of karma. There are black karma, then white karma, black and white karma, and neither black nor white karma. Those are the 4 types of karma. Black karma. What are the black karma? Black karma are evil deeds, evil things, like breaking 5 precepts, breaking 10 unwholesome. Those are really black karma. Then their opposite are good karma, white karma. White karma. Wholesome deeds, merit, good deeds, white karma. Then we do both these. These are called black and white karma. When we live in society, people do both these. These are called black and white karma. And the last category is called neither black nor white karma. What are these? Those are the karma, the karma that we are doing, but no particular expectation, no particular results to come to, no result in future. Now you are doing, the action is going on, the result you don't expect in future. These are like arahants. They do things, but no results. So when we practice meditation, we do this type of actions. So the Buddha said, especially, these 7 factors of enlightenment are in that particular category, which is called neither black nor white karma. You are engaged in a karma. You are practicing, engaging. You are doing these actions, but you do not have results. You do not have result to reap in the future. Right now you get that. That is the meaning. Right now you develop your mind. As you are practicing, developing, you are cultivating, you are developing your mind, you reap the results right now, not in the future. These are called neither black nor white karma. So friends, this is how we have to understand the significance of the 7 factors of enlightenment. Now, the 7 factors, now we have several monks here. You got the opportunity to listen to different monks, different Bhantes. So tonight I talk about the first factor of the enlightenment. And tomorrow Bhante Ji will give you a talk on the second factor, which is investigation of the Dhamma. Then the next day, Bhante Saddha Jiva, next 2 days, he will give 2 talks, and after that, Bhante Jayasara will give 2 more talks, and finally, the last day, I will give another talk, which is equanimity. Like that, you get the chance to listen to different monks. So as I talk about the factors of enlightenment, now let's understand mindfulness as a factor of enlightenment and how it is to be developed. Mindfulness, first we have to understand what mindfulness is. My definition first. My definition for mindfulness is, it is the moment to moment awareness, alertness in the present moment. Moment to moment awareness, alertness in the present moment. That is my definition. There are several synonyms like attention, awareness, alertness, earnestness, diligent, and vigilant. These are different synonyms for mindfulness. Buddha gave only 4 letters. S-A-T-I. 4 letters in English. In Pali, 2 letters. Sati. 2 letters. Sati is the Pali term for mindfulness. So that means all these different terms, the synonyms which I said, all these are encompassed. All these are included to that word Sati, mindfulness. Mindfulness is twofold. Mindfulness as memory and mindfulness of power. Mindfulness of memory means you can remember, you can develop that faculty so that you can remember even in the past many birth times, hundreds, thousands, millions, trillions, eons and eons. You can remember your past. That is because of your mindfulness. That is what is called mindfulness of memory, through which you cannot attain enlightenment. You cannot attain enlightenment simply by memorizing or simply by reflecting on what you did in the past. You have to develop mindfulness of power. That is what is called moment-to-moment awareness, alertness, earnestness in the present moment. You have to develop that mindfulness. It is through this you can understand, you can realize it in a flash. You can destroy, you can eliminate all trash in a flash. It is because of mindfulness. In order to practice this mindfulness, you have to have clear comprehension as well. The Buddha said, monks, practice mindfulness and clear comprehension. Sato bhikkhu viharaya sampajano. Monks, live with mindfulness and clear comprehension. That means these both should go together. And also the Buddha emphasized the need of practicing mindfulness and metta together, hand in hand, like tandem. Metta should go with mindfulness. In the Metta Sutta, which we recited earlier, in which you find, Buddha said, Etang sating aditteya. This sati, what is that sati? Sati with mindfulness, sati with metta. Sati with metta should be determined, should be developed. Etang sating aditteya. In the Dhammapada, Buddha said, Appamado amata padang, pamado machuno padang, appamatta na miyanti ye pamatta yatha matha. Appamado amata padang. Mindfulness is the way to deathlessness. Mindfulness is the way to deathlessness. Appamado amata padang. Pamado machuno padang. Unmindfulness is the way to death. Appamatta na miyanti. Those who are mindful do not die. Ye pamatta yata mata. Those who are unmindful are like dead ones, though live. Such important, this mindfulness. Mindfulness is the key. It is the watchword. Key word, watchword in the teaching of the Buddha. That means without mindfulness, we cannot practice Dhamma. One day, a certain deity came to Buddha and said, as if one's head is smitten with a sword, one should strive with mindfulness to eliminate, to destroy sensual desire. sensual desire. In order to cut off sensual desire, one should practice mindfulness. How quick? As if one's head was smitten with a sword, with a weapon. Your head is wounded. Then no time to do any other things. Or as if the head is on fire. You have to work hard. You have to practice quickly. That is what the deity said. In order to cut off sensual desire, sensual lust, kama raga pahanaya. But the Buddha said, it is true that you have to work hard. You have to be haste to practice. Strive to practice mindfulness. In order, the Buddha said, in order to cut off, in order to destroy your personality belief, sakkaya ditthi, personality belief. That is the first fetter of the 10 fetters. Sakkaya ditthi, personality belief, is the first fetter. There are 10 fetters through which we are bound to samsara. Of the 10 fetters, the first one is the most difficult one to cut off. In order to cut off that, the Buddha said, develop mindfulness. Mindfulness, referring to mindfulness of breathing, Buddha gave a special discourse. I think most of you know this discourse. Mindfulness of breathing discourse from middle-length sayings, Majjhima Nikaya. Ānāpānasati Sutta. Most of you have read this. Where the Buddha said, monks, when mindfulness of breathing is developed and cultivated, it fulfills 4 establishments of mindfulness. When the 4 establishments of mindfulness are developed and cultivated, they fulfill 7 factors of enlightenment. When the 7 factors of enlightenment are developed and cultivated, they fulfill knowledge, true knowledge and deliverance. You see, mindfulness, such important. If you practice one thing, you develop 4 things. You practice only one thing. What is one thing? Mindfulness of breathing. Then you develop 4 things, 4 establishments of mindfulness. Then when you develop 4 things, what happens? You develop 7 things, 7 factors of enlightenment. Then you realize true knowledge, the 4 noble truths. True knowledge means 4 noble truths. And then come to deliverance. Mindfulness, when practiced, it is every sitting, every sitting is important. Every sitting you develop your mindfulness. Wherever you sit, when you sit, you are mindful. It is just like the hen that sits on eggs. Every sitting of the hen is important to warm up the eggs. Then what happens? Just the hen, what does she do? She just sits on eggs. Then the hen warms up these eggs. Eventually, chicks come out. Just like that, whenever you sit, every sitting is important. Every sitting you develop your mindfulness. Mindfulness is such an important thing. Without mindfulness, no meditation. Therefore, we have to understand the importance of practicing mindfulness. When you practice mindfulness in this manner, it becomes a faculty. There are 5 faculties to be developed. Saddha, Viriya, Sati, Samadhi, Panya. Saddha, confidence. You see, such important confidence. Saddha. Without Saddha, practicing is impossible. For the practice of this Dhamma, you have to have Saddha, confidence. It is considered as the base, as the foundation of the sasana, whole dispensation. Saddha is such important thing. From beginning to the end, we need Saddha. So, Saddha is a faculty. So, you to practice, develop Saddha, confidence as a faculty. Then Virya. Virya is energy. Then Sati, mindfulness. Samadhi, concentration. Panya, wisdom. These are called 5 spiritual faculties. Of the 5 faculties, the 5 faculties are like this, 5 fingers. Confidence, energy, mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom. These 5 should be practiced, developed, and should be developed with a clear balance. In order to balance this, you have to develop your Sati, mindfulness. This is the lone one. The tallest one is called mindfulness. It balances others. So mindfulness is a faculty. When you develop your mindfulness as a faculty, they themselves become powers. Spiritual power. They are called spiritual powers. Then your Sati becomes a power, Sati Bala, which leads to practice mindfulness, practice 7 factors of enlightenment. Of the 7 factors, the first factor is mindfulness. It's such important. Mindfulness is such an important thing. Mindfulness, when practiced, Buddha taught us how to practice this. These 7 factors are very important, specifically to cut off the higher fetters. Of the 10 fetters, higher fetters are to be cut off for the attainment of enlightenment. In order to cut off these factors, 7 factors of enlightenment are indispensable. Very much significant. Of the 7, the first one is mindfulness. Mindfulness as a factor of enlightenment. Now, let's understand how to develop mindfulness as a factor of enlightenment. Buddha said, in the discourses, when you practice mindfulness of breathing, as you are practicing concentration and insight, you to understand, especially when you practice insight, you to understand everything, whatever comes to you to understand. It's just like you are digging a tunnel. When you dig a tunnel with a tool, with a small tool, you to dig the tunnel. So I always compare the practice as digging the tunnel. We have to use the tool, very small tools. When you dig the tunnel, you have to understand, you have to do it slowly. What is our tool? Meditator's tool? It is wisdom. Through wisdom you have to dig the tunnel. Then whatever you see, In the tunnel you see different things, like pebbles, pieces of roots, or some different creatures. Whatever you see, you to understand this and you to remove this. Like that, when you practice, you to understand whatever objects come to your mind through these 6 senses. We have 6 different senses through which different objects come to our mind. So the Buddha said, when you practice, develop, these 7 factors are to be developed as 7 factors of enlightenment. When you practice, develop the factors as sati, you have to be more mindful. When you become more and more mindful, Buddha said, then you can understand that mindfulness is there in your mind. In Pali, the Buddha said, Santang va ajjattang satisang bojjangang attime ajjattang satisang bojjangoti pajanati. Pajanati. Know well. Know well when there is mindfulness as a factor of enlightenment in your mind, understand it. Understand it well. Pajanati. So that is the first thing. When we are mindful, we have to understand that we are mindful. That is the meaning. If there is no mindfulness, Buddha said, if there is no mindfulness as a factor, then understand that there is no mindfulness in your mind. You see, you should not repent on, you should not be regretted. You should not regret what happened. You to understand that there is no mindfulness. It's all right. Asantang va ajjattang sati sambojjangan. When there is no mindfulness, understand it as it is. Then the Buddha said, whenever the unarisen mindfulness is arising, whenever the unarisen mindfulness is arising, understand that mindfulness as a factor is arising now. For this you have to be mindful. Mindfulness itself is the way to understand mindfulness. You see? Mindfulness itself is the way to understand mindfulness. Understand whether the mindfulness is there in your mind or whether the mindfulness is arising. You have to be mindful to understand that mindfulness. And also the Buddha said, whenever the mindfulness is developed, cultivated, understand that now the mindfulness is developed and cultivated. Like that, in 4 different ways you have to understand the factor of mindfulness. That is how to practice. And again, the Buddha said, when you practice mindfulness as a factor of enlightenment, you to depend on 4 different things. Means you to based on 4 different factors, 4 different things, you to practice. Develop mindfulness as a factor of enlightenment. What are the 4 things? Buddha used the word, in Pali the Buddha said, Viveka nissitang, Viraga nissitang, Nirodha nissitang, and Vasagga parinami. Viveka nissitang. When you practice, you have to practice based on detachment. Viveka means detachment. There are 3 types of detachment: bodily detachment, mental detachment, and detachment from all these 5 aggregates. So detachment to viveka is important. In order to practice, you have to have viveka, real viveka. The physical viveka and mental viveka. That is why I said, that is what I said earlier. You have to find a congenial place, a right place to practice. You know, the Buddha recommended 3 different places to practice. Buddha said, go to a foot of a tree. Secondly said, go to a wood. And then said, go to an empty house, empty hut. This is the right place. Go to a forest. Buddha said, go to a forest. This is a forest. Go to a foot of a tree. There are foot of trees. Even you can sit under a tree. There are a lot of trees here. Oh, go to an empty house, empty hut. Nobody lives here. This is an empty place. Empty house. So, right place to practice. So, when you practice, Buddha said, Viveka Nissitang, Viveka, interval. Calm yourself, calm your body, calm your mind, and practice. That is the meaning. Viveka, real Viveka. You are not attached to things. You are not thinking of too many things around the world, the other end of the world. Even not things out of this hall. Just here you are on the cushion. Simply relax, calm your body and practice. That is how you to practice mindfulness as a factor of enlightenment. First factor, viveka. The second one is based on viraga. Viraga, dispassion, not passion. Not passion, no passions. Dispassion, viraga. Once Buddha said, viraga is the best of Dhamma, best of all Dhamma, viraga is the thing. Best of all Dhamma, viraga is the best. Virago setto Dhammana. Viraga is the best. Dispassion. Practice dispassionately. That is the meaning. Third, when you practice mindfulness as a factor of enlightenment, you have to practice with the idea of cessation, ceasing, cessation, based on cessation, nirodha, cessation, based on cessation, nirodha. And the fourth one, Vosagga Parinamin, maturing to release, maturing, leading to the attainment of enlightenment, for the awakening. With that, practice this. So, Viveka, Viraga, Nirodha, and Vosagga Parinam. This is how to practice. We have 2 different states of mind. When we practice at a time, we cannot practice all the time the same. When we practice, there is time we cannot practice. Just sort of sluggish. It's difficult to practice. Tina Midday also. We have sleepiness. Sloth and torpor. Sluggish mind. Buddha recommended, when you practice for these factors, especially when you practice mindfulness as a factor of enlightenment, if the mind is sluggish, do not practice 3 factors of enlightenment. That means we should not practice these 3 factors if the mind is sluggish. What are the three factors of enlightenment? Tranquility, concentration, and equanimity. These 3 factors should not be practiced if the mind is sluggish, because these are more conducive to sluggishness. So, of the 7 factors of enlightenment, these 3 should not practice when the mind is sluggish. Then there is another condition of mind, that is agitation. At a time, mind is quite restless, agitated. Whenever we have agitation, agitated mind, the Buddha said, do not practice investigation of the Dhamma, energy as a factor, and then rapture. These 3. Don't practice these 3 if the mind is agitated. So, all this, of the 7 factors, then we should not practice 3 factors when the mind is sluggish, and 3 factors when the mind is agitated. Then what is the first factor? Mindfulness. Where should we practice that? What time? At what time? Buddha said, all the time. All the time. Without mindfulness, no place, no way to practice. Therefore, it is said, sabbattagami. Sabbattagami means going all over. Mindfulness, therefore, mindfulness is a factor of enlightenment to be developed all the time. So friends, let's understand the significance of practice in developing this factor of mindfulness as a factor of enlightenment. And let's understand the significance of practicing all these 7 factors of enlightenment. And let's all together practice throughout these days so that we can understand this Dhamma, this wonderful Dhamma, more and more. Finally, we can realize real peace, real happiness of Nibbana. May we all attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.